This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, your all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website and grow your online brand.
She's got to work through the loss of her mother. We lose people we care about, but then also people that we never knew, but their humanity still touches us, still inspires us, their stories.
One of the big themes of this movie is kindness pays dividends, because Suzume is unfailingly kind to people.
The more people that she connects with and she cares for and care for her, the more she feels safe and that she belongs.
君はすごかったよ。ありがとう。
Guilt, grief, they can be helpful things. They can also be destructive if we don't go through the process and then move forward. If they just become the new normal. The younger versions of us experience really hard things. Those wounds don't heal until we heal them. And in order for us to heal them, we have to access that little version, right? That person inside and say, it's gonna be okay.
Welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy. I'm joined by...
Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. What's going on, man?
I would really like to learn how you can have a healthy, loving, caring, nurturing relationship with a child's chair.
Are we watching Suzume? Is that?
We're watching Suzume.
That's because that's a really short list of movies that have
that's
that plot
the only one.
All right, so what do you want me to be looking for in this?
I mean, obviously we're going to be talking about overcoming grief and trauma. Mm-hmm. You know, I was kind of joking, but also kind of serious. A little bit of relationship therapy, maybe with...
Yeah, he's not actually a chair.
Sota is the guy's name.
Listen, he is fine as hell in human form, and as a chair, he's still adorable.
He's cute.
He's super cute.
So...
Giant worm demons.
Coming out of doors... causing earthquakes.
That only these two can see.
Well, they can see the worm demons.
Right. Yeah, everyone can see the earthquakes and the effects, but like...
So again, this is 8 minutes into your movie. We've barely met this guy. We know that there's like a regular girl who goes to school, and she's seeing all this stuff.
Well, and she had a vision that she doesn't understand of her as a child in some star-filled place. But this movie goes big really fast.
Yeah,
and it hooks you so hard.
5.5 minutes in, she opens a mysterious door in the middle of nowhere that opens into a starlit magical field where Tiny Her is standing, and I'm like, I am so in.
Yeah. So I don't know enough about Japanese culture, or the theology that this might be speaking to, whether it's just in film mythology or actual Japanese theology / mythology.
Very much film fiction, sort of built around, Japanese mythology and built around Shinto. But yeah, here we go. Opening title. That's how you open your movie. And this is how movies should work.
It's a really strong hook.
It is rip-roaring right out the gate, and then this big, giant, epic thing, and cut to the title with some haunting, ethereal voice. Mm-hmm. Like, I nearly stood up. I was not in a movie theater.
You were at home.
I was at home. I nearly stood up and cheered.
Just enjoying the film and like, what's up with this guy? So, Suzume lost her mother at a young age, has repressed memories of a lot of this. It's not things that she can access. She doesn't know a lot about what happened before she lost her mom because it's too painful. She's being raised by her single aunt, and there's a longing there, and an ache there, and a hurt there. And they establish it so well, so quickly, because as you said, at 8 minutes in, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So he's been turned into a chair by a cat who cast a curse on him.
He's been turned into a chair by a cat.
There are movies that when you watch them, something happens to signal to you, literally anything could happen in this movie.
Just go with it. You'll be fine.
And when a cat shows up and curses the love interest and turns him into a three-legged chair. But this is one of her earliest memories. Actually, this is her earliest memory. She's repressed pretty much everything before this.
Yeah, she only accesses it in dreams.
Maybe she has other memories. Maybe she's got a few of her mom, but not much. This is the one that she keeps coming to, though. I love, is he dead? Is he asleep?
Do you always sleep like that?
Turns out, as a chair, he doesn't need to eat, but he does need to sleep. Chairs get tired, I guess.
Chairs get real sleepy.
Why does she keep having this recurring dream?
Yeah.
Dreams themselves is the brain at play, right? And sometimes weird dreams are just bad sushi. But recurring dreams generally are about something that you're not dealing with when you're awake. Mm-hmm. It could be because you're choosing not to deal with it when you're awake. Sometimes when you're awake, your subconscious just represses it for you. But a recurring dream generally means there's something there for you to look at, explore, think about, and process.
Yeah.
And I do know that therapeutically, when people do that, the recurring dreams tend to go away. And in her case, I mean, it serves a dual purpose. I mean, narratively, it's giving us breadcrumbs to keep us tantalized for what the payoff's going to be. What's this all about? Yep. Psychologically, it's showing there is pain there that was too overwhelming for her to face and deal with. Yeah. But it's got to come through the surface. And so that's a character arc, right? By the end, she does look it square in the face. She does deal with it, and that helps her to heal. That's why we have dreams like that. Have you all seen our cinema therapy website?
It was so easy to build and customize using
Squarespace.
That's right, buddy.
Squarespace has optimized SEO tools to help you show up more often and to more people in web searches.
Just like the worm showing up all over Japan, except this is a good thing and it won't cause any earthquakes or death.
Their new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint, has so many templates and layouts to choose from and easily customize.
They have built-in visual design tools so we could make our site fit our own brand and style.
I wasn't aware that we had any style.
We do, it's this.
You can also connect all of your social and multimedia accounts so your website can function as a hub for everything that you do.
Like how ours is linked to our YouTube, our Patreon, our merch stores, and all the other stuff that we're doing. It's a lot of stuff.
So whether you need to build a website for your custom-made three-legged sprint chair company,
or your trending cat tracking software,
or your line of worm-proof doors,
ew,
let them in.
Squarespace will work for you, and you won't have to spend months building a website or figuring out the names of all the ancestors that unlock the key.
They also offer client invoicing, flexible customer payments, and custom merch so you can grow your brand and company.
Bro. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch,
go to squarespace.com/cinematherapy and use code
cinematherapy
to get 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website. So, I'm just gonna call him Chairman. The chairman.
Sota.
I know he's Sota, but he's the chairman.
Okay.
So Sota decided to go at it alone to protect her out of pride, a little bit of both, but he realizes that he's out of his depth because you can't close a portal and shut a door as a
tiny chair. As a broken child's chair. And now he's teaching her how to do the magic, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you access the magic to close and lock the portals?
And how she does it is accessing the memories and the emotions of the people who used to be here.
When this was a living place full of life.
Yeah.
What did it mean to the people who were here? And that's, you know, thematically, one of the big things that this movie is about is, you know, these abandoned places feel sad, but they represent something beautiful and wonderful, which was all the people and all the life.
Come on!
It's so huge, but like feels earned.
Yeah. And then he laughs.
やったな、すずめさん。
It's still funny. This reminds me of Everything Everywhere All at Once, like the Google I Rock conversation, right? Because you have so many moments in this movie where he's a chair.
Yes.
And it's funny, but you also have moments where he's a chair and it's poignant or heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And that's movie magic.
It is patently absurd situation that you completely buy into, and by the end of the film, you are absolutely rooting for her relationship with this chair.
I both love that when they slam the keys into the keyhole because it's so epic, and it gets under my skin a little bit because have you ever tried to ram a key into a keyhole at full speed, full strength?
Yes.
I can't.
Counterpoint, have you ever been an anime superhero?
No.
Okay, there you go.
And, maybe the gods guided in.
That's what she said.
The thing this makes me think of, most recently, I went to Pearl Harbor with my kids.
Yeah.
And just kind of experiencing what this place meant. I mean, yes, on the tragic day, but also before, the life that was there. Mm-hmm. It ties in with the Japanese theme because you have Hiroshima, you have these places that are haunting and tragic now, but before they were teeming with life, of feeling like, what was this before? And you could kind of feel the energy.
It's like you feel the ghosts, even though, are ghosts real?
That's a discussion for another channel.
It's not.
That's not within our
Cinema Therapy
purview.
Ghost Hunters. That's our next channel.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, that would be super fun.
Pick up your phone and call the professionals. Go Ghostbusters.
Going to a place helps make it real and the people real and their lives. There's something psychological about forming a connection with ghosts, right? With the ghosts of the past and of these places. And I love that is where she draws the strength from.
Yeah.
Right? And to the theme of the film of working through grief, we lose people we care about, but then also people that we never knew, but their humanity still touches us, still inspires us, their stories. She's got to work through the loss of her mother. Japan's got to work through the loss of depopulation and earthquakes and just a lot of horrible things. And I love how the movie kind of subtly weaves all that through, but it's more invested in you going on an awesome adventure.
It's an awesome adventure movie with a really fun romance that underneath all of it has this massive well of subtext from all of Japanese history and folklore.
Yeah.
About, because the Japanese people have a really interesting relationship with their homeland, which is this beautiful, magical place that is also constantly trying to kill them.
Yeah.
I think one of the big themes of this movie is kindness pays dividends, because Suzume is unfailingly kind to people. Yeah. Can you speak to that? Is that, sometimes we're kind and we get beat up for it.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of the law of attraction, right? You attract, our comment section is the kindest comment section on YouTube, right? And possibly on the internet.
And it's because he's unfailingly kind and I'm a cynical a-hole.
Not on camera, you're not. No, because the things that we promote, the people who gravitate towards that, they all kind of collect there. And so Suzume's kindness draws kind people. Because I don't know that the filmmakers are saying everybody is good and all people are kind.
Right, I don't think that's the point.
But I like what you said, kindness pays dividends. And sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes, people spit in your face for it. But very often, kindness helps you to find kind people.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with her. And it is those connections that are helping her to heal still from the loss of her mother, that she, as a child, her mom passed away. She has her aunt. Sometimes things are strained between them, but there's love there. But the more people that she connects with and she cares for and care for her, the more she feels safe and that she belongs. And we also see later on how important all of these friends that she makes are in helping her to achieve victory, right, over the underground demon monster worm thingies.
So they've closed another door. Daijin is a magic cat that turned him into a chair. Just go with it.
Daijin's a little scamp.
He is a little scoundrel, and I love him. He's extremely cute.
ありがとうすずめさん、後ろ戸の中に何を見ていた？
すごく眩しい星空と草原と。
常世だ。君には常世が見えるんだ。
常世？
この世界の
doing even more
ミ
world
ミズの
building.
住処。すべての時間が同時にある場所。
見えるけど入れないの。
常世は死者の赴く場所なんだそうだ。うつし世に生きる俺たちには届かない場所。 行ってはいけない場所なんだ。
I'm positive that the filmmakers had a bunch of ideas thematically where maybe it's not allegorical, where like this is this thing, like the worm is this and the doorway is this and the ever after is like a real world analog. But I do feel like the fact that we're constantly running around closing doors has something to do with gaining closure and maybe moving on from guilt. Is that a sense you're getting from the film? What was your take?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all of these places, they're abandoned places where loss has happened. And from them emanates this destructive force that just continues to consume everything, right?
Right.
And guilt, grief, they can be helpful things. They can be. They can also be destructive if we don't go through the process and then move forward. If they just become the new normal. Grief, you don't necessarily close it off as much as it's just not all consuming anymore by gaining closure, right? By scattering the ashes, by having the funeral, by having traditions that help you to remember, or after a breakup, you get together with your friends and you burn all their crap or whatever happens, but you move forward through closure. And I do think, again, because it's not beating you over the head with it, it also doesn't need to be right on the nose. It's kind of vague and open to interpretation, but also in the arena of closing the doors is closure, right? And then you move forward, and then the destructive force doesn't consume you. And now we understand a bit more of the significance of the chair. I mean, I know a lot of movies and stories show you things that you're like, what is even happening right now? And it's just like, just wait, the movie will answer itself.
Yeah.
But there are several things in this movie that I was like, I don't know if it's ever going to give us an answer if we're just supposed to go with it. But I am glad we got this answer.
It did just enough. And that's
もうちょっと
one thing that you can tell from a movie really quickly is
そうね
within 5 or 10 minutes, you can tell if a movie is actually going to hold your hand the correct amount.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how. It's an intuitive thing when I work on film projects. Like, okay,
雀専用の
I know after this 10 minutes that the audience is going to feel okay, that I'm going to like actually take care of them and I'm going to answer the questions. It's not going to be confusing. It's going to be intriguing.
Yeah.
よいしょお雀専用だ
I love that once the chair gets painted, everything's in color.
Yeah.
絶対ずっと一生大事にするね一生それはお母さん作った甲斐があったわ
And now I find myself pondering on what's the significance of Sota's soul inhabiting the chair created by the mother.
Yeah.
Because, the mother represents the past, and I guess he represents the future, but it's all connection. It's all Suzume, the people that she loves and cares about, are all just like contained in this chair. This little chair that hauls ass, by the way. Like that was the thing that I enjoyed. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna keep up. I'm like, he's keeping up.
Wow, that chair can move. To your point, I think the significance is actually that when Suzume goes into the Ever After to rescue Sota chair, who becomes a keystone, I think the reason the movie has him turn into the chair is because she's going after him, but she's also going after her mother. So she's going into this place to deal with all of it at once.
So when she loses him, it's like losing her mom all over again.
Yeah.
It's metaphorical!
Hey guys, it's David. He's one of our editors, and he also finals every episode and cuts all of the ads.
I am here today because we're making another show, and it's called Murder, She Rolled, and it's everywhere podcasts are available, and we're doing something wildly original. Alan is playing a grumpy old man who needs therapy.
That's accurate.
Really fun podcast with exceptionally talented and funny people, and I pop in once in a while.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Go listen, please.
It's a D&D podcast.
My livelihood depends on it.
That is so what a child would write.
That's exactly.
It's my important stuff.
日記帳私あの頃のことあんまりよく覚えてないのでも
So unearths her own little personal time capsule.
March 11th.
Because didn't this whole area get wormed? Didn't it get, yeah.
Yeah, so March 11th, 3/11 is
Oh, that was the
Japan's
one.
9/11, right? It's
Yeah.
the day of the tsunami.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. That she was in the real world location where this happened. That's the.
Her mom died in the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami.
あの状況も探したいってだった。
What an intensely personal film for a Japanese audience then.
Yeah.
夢じゃなかった。
So she remembers
The ever after, and she sees the door that's the portal.
and she's here because this is the only place that she can access it, which I think is really cool. That like you can only access your memories through your portal. Like what's your portal? It's your journal. It's your photos, right? It's your yearbook. It's your family history. It's all these things that anyone can go to Pearl Harbor or Pompeii and get in touch with somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
And I think the symbolism of her being able to open the door and see inside but not enter in is that she's in places that don't pertain to her.
Right.
So she can kind of get a glimpse of it, get a feel for it, but can't fully immerse herself in it because it's not
And
hers.
this was her home.
And this was hers. So she can go all the way in. And that's cool. And that's something I just thought of right now.
Yeah.
Therapist reacts.
Boom. The thing that I love about this is the symbolic significance of every single page, she's drawing these really colorful drawings and she's writing her, simple little kid stories of what happened that day. And then on March 11th, just gone. Everything's just blacked out. And it's just blacked out for days and days and days.
Wow.
Until she can find the door and the portal to go look for her mom, because it's just heartbreaking that a little kid wouldn't know how to process. And so instead of trying to do anything, it's just, this is all black and I don't want it anymore. So she goes through the portal
And discovers that because all time exists in the same place, she can access her younger self. And her younger self remembers meeting a woman that she thought was her mother. But it's her.
Yeah.
Which is pretty Prisoner of Azkaban, right?
Very much so, yeah.
Here comes my dad, he'll be there any second, and it's me all along.
ねえスズメ見てスズメほらスズメの椅子だあれ
So she's already managed to get Sota out of the chair.
Now it's just a chair.
スズメ今はどんなに悲しくてもねスズメはこの先ちゃんと大きくなるの
Some beautiful
だから心配しないで
inner child
未
work
来なんて
here.
怖くないあなたはこれからも誰かを大好きになるし
This
あなたを大好きに
visual
なってくれる誰かとも
and the music supporting what's happening is just spectacular. It's so
い
good.
つか必ず朝が来るあなたは光の中で大人になっていく必ずそうなるのそれはちゃんと決まっていることなのお姉ちゃん誰私はねスズメの明日
And then the darkness dissipates.
Yeah. And she goes back to... This is how she recognized Sota at the beginning, because she has a vague memory of this, even though she mostly blocked it out, didn't remember that she was talking to herself.
So this is symbolic of inner child work, right? I mean, the real world corollary is finding that little person inside of you, remembering what it was like to be a certain age when you experienced heavy loss, when you experienced grief, when you experienced trauma, and saying to that person inside of you, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to meet people who are going to bring so much joy and light into your life. You're going to have wonderful experiences. I mean, this reminds me of, there was a whole campaign for the LGBT community called It Gets Better a few years ago. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And they had people in different places. I think they had some folks at Pixar who are LGBT and talking to teenagers.
Don't let anyone tell you you're less than zero just because you're gay.
And stay in it. It gets better.
And how healing that is to give that to another person, but also to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because so often the younger versions of us experienced really hard things and those wounds don't heal. until we heal them. And in order for us to heal them, we have to access that little version, right? That person inside, and say, it's going to be okay. You're going to find new strength. You're going to find new people. And the dark days aren't going to last interminably. And that is, here it's all fantastical and metaphorical and visual and super cool. But the emotional, psychological core of it is very sound and very powerful.
She's your tomorrow, by the way. Super poetic way to put that.
Who are you?
Your
I am
future,
your
not
tomorrow.
you. I'm your tomorrow.
Yeah, so cool.
Brilliant. Roan, Suzume, can't move forward until she confronts her past and deals with it, because she hasn't dealt with it either, and then closes the door on it. Again, we're literally metaphorically closing a door.
And what a freaking great movie.
I didn't catch this when it first came out. It's only about 2 years old. I think it came out in 2022. It's my favorite movie I've seen so far this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I love this film.
But Godzilla X Kong came out this year.
Also good. Different. So until next time.
Can I step on you?
Ask before you do that.
And
watch movies. We need to thank our patrons, people who get extended director's cuts and a bunch of other cool stuff on our Patreon. People like
Kelly Johnson,
Fox,
Not a Phoenix, Dorothy Lynn,
Nawastani,
Christine Metzgar. We love you. You're great.
Good job. You're our patrons.
And if you give us money on our Patreon, we'll love you too.
We won't otherwise.